Here's another one of those exciting trips on my return from doing groceries. So, of course, those of you who wish to see it that way will look at it that I'm complaining. I'm not actually, because we live a very good life, and occasionally, like anybody else on the planet, we have occasional hard times. Challenging times is what I'm saying. And over the last few weeks, the UK, which seems to me to be in a great deal of trouble, for the third month running, they failed to pay my pension on time. Now, this is not a giveaway. This is something that I put the money in and I'm now drawing the money out. That's what the social security benefit is. It's a benefit to me because of what I contributed, as all people who are on that kind of a pension. So they're failing to make it. Normally, when times are good, which I'm not sure that I know when the UK has had good times at the moment, but they would pay around the 24th. That's what my memory, if my memory serves me right, that's when they would pay. They haven't done that. And the last time that they were late, they were 10 days late. And now, here we are. What's the date today? Is it the 4th? I'm thinking it's the 4th. It's the 4th. The 4th of the 4th, 25. So, I should have had my pension last month about the 24th, 25th, say, right? Now, it should be paid by a computer. So the computer doesn't know when it's having a hard time. It just pays on the date, and in the same way that your bills are paid by a computer on the date, it doesn't know that you're having a hard time, so it doesn't delay the payments. Well, apparently somebody has reset the computer in the UK, and now they're doing like the rest of us do. They're paying the bill when they can. They must have a lot of bills, and I'm one of them, and they're not paying on time. So we still haven't received last month's pension from the UK. Now, if you're looking at what is happening in the UK, then you'll find out that they're in a great deal of trouble, in much the same way that the US have been in trouble, that they're ignoring their veterans and homeless, and they're paying illegal migrants. They're illegal. And if you think, probably you may or may not know this, but England is a bare 20 miles from France. So people are getting on, they could practically be on a rowboat and row across the British Channel, the English Channel, British Channel, whichever, and are allowed to land in England. Now, sooner or later, the only way that this is going to be stopped, surely, is that they're going to have the appropriate troops out on the water saying you can't land, turn around and paddle your way back to France. Well, we'll hope that that's coming soon. There is one of the hotel chains in England which is now telling the government we will not take any more illegal immigrants as guests in our hotel. And that's what's happening. So the reason I tell you this is not for any sympathy. We don't need any sympathy. We're doing pretty good. But I will say this. I'll give a warning to those people who are going to tell me how inadequately I am handling my finances. We live debt-free on a piece of property that is worth a great deal of money, and we don't have any payments to make other than power. We have free water, it's pumped up by electricity, so that's one of the things that is on power. And we have our taxes at the end of the year, which can come as a shock, and we just had that shock. And we paid that bill, which was a great deal of money, and it coincided the same as isn't it always about timing, that you get the biggest bill just when you seem to have had a little windfall of money come in, and a bill comes in to match it and it's gone. Well, we've had that. But the UK is waiting for I don't know what. Maybe they're waiting for me to bleed. But anyway, they're not paying so far for last month. And what is happening is it's getting later and later and later until, if this continues, they will owe me a month. So they'll start paying as if they're paying this month, but actually it will be last month's, if you can work that out. So I've been out and I've done the grocery shopping, and because we have been holding on, and thank you to our very good friends who have sent us little donations, you know, our very good friends, okay? I'm not here asking or suggesting that anybody do the same. We were very fortunate in having good friends. So we've managed to hold out, and today I was able to go down and pick up the first payment on my the first withdrawal from my US pension. So we're doing okay. Now, I went out, and because we've been holding on and eating very simply for the last 2 weeks, okay, we went out and I spent much more than I normally would. But I did buy a few things which had run out. So I'm looking here, there's 280 pesos. I bought in more rice than I normally do, 5 kilos of camia rice, which is the nicest, according to Beth, and I have no reason to argue whether that was, let me see, camia rice, 5 kilos was 280 pesos. Now, above that, we've got Super Vote ADSML tuna, 1.4 kilo pack. I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it may be, let me see, could it possibly be this for the dog? 700 grams. And I got some of this which we can mix up. I think that's for the dog. But anyway, I'm going to take things out and show you. I think we all know what that's for. They used to, in the UK, they used to have a picture of a little baby on the pot, and they say the job's not done until the paperwork's finished. And in spite of all of your advice, we still get in a few of these noodles, okay, because they do fill in. I get these to have with cheese. Let me see. Now, I have no idea how they got in. They must have been, I do know how they got in. They came out of the freezer and they must have been stuck to the bacon. I got 2 packs of bacon at 160, and yeah, that's it. Oh my God, and that's that. I can't see where they are, but that would have been, that's a purchase I would never have got. But it happens. I've given in to temptation and I've got some coffee. So that's how it comes in sachets. No point in telling me you can buy it cheaper if you buy it in a big pot. cheese. So what's the Edam cheese cost? It's around to 2 something. Where is it? Edam cheese. Oh no, it's $3, $1.45. Okay, now we found that my storing, I actually bought in some cans last month just in case we ran short, and sure enough we ran short. We also get this because this will form a meal if you start on hard times, and if you're depending on the UK for your pension, you might well have a few hard times. So I got all of this, and I get the more expensive by a few pennies so that I don't have to use a can opener. So that's it. And I got quite a few, I think, of that. I also got some of these because they're nice, but I stopped buying fruit, except for these, because these look as if they may be local. They are 19 pesos each. I got 4 of those. Now the reason that I buy those is because when Beth is not feeling that great, she will ask me to, and that reminds me that I've forgotten to get apple cider vinegar. We're down to about this much in the bottom. I usually cut one of these in half and I make 2 drinks using apple cider vinegar, a little dash of apple cider vinegar, some hot water, a spoonful of honey, and the squeezings from half a lemon. And she always says that it puts her right. And she who must be obeyed must not be contradicted. What is this? Okay, surf. Once again, we don't buy washing powder in big packs. It's not Costco, and we're not in Kansas. Now, we don't use cooking oil, right? We cook in this, which is coconut oil. This is supposedly pure coconut oil. I'm not going to argue with anyone about what the word pure means, okay? Now, because this is pure honey, and I'm sure that somebody who knows much better than I do that this is not pure honey. Even my friend Michael says that it comes in huge barrels and then they cut it with something or other. I'm going to take that and I'm going to, in my mind, I'm going to make it pure honey. Okay, now the rest of the canned food here. Now, actually, this is probably, this is probably which was an expensive one. But our little dog, show me a little dog that's not spoiled to death. That's what we got for him. We can buy it much cheaper at the vets, but it's not that, and it's not tasted. And the little darling is getting fed up of the dog food that we're feeding it. Washing up liquid, which I'll put over there. So I'll leave that in there. The rest is our usual meat. Here we go, our meat. Now in with that we get the frozen packs of bacon, and that will do 3 of us for breakfast or for a midday meal. So I won't get that out. Now this is what we usually do, but this time I actually went for lean meat, and it came, so this, that's bones, forgive me. This is bones again. Where is the one? Now, this is lean pork, and if it's put in with the bones as well, then it's nice meat. It's nice and it's good, tastes great. Beth wouldn't buy that because she likes the bones, because it gives the broth. So I go against orders from the top and I buy that in spite of everything that she says. Bacon again. I think I got, heavens, did I get? Yeah, I just got 2 lots of bacon. And now I got these like pork chops, and these actually didn't come out that expensive. These were 81 pesos. There is some bone on there, but if it's mixed with one of the other packs, it will provide for 3 of us. Same again. This one was a little bit heavier and it was 130. So all of that is the meat, and I got enough, hopefully, optimistically, for a few days. It will see us in. So there's a few things there that I've bought which are slightly high end. This is, I think, let me see, I'll tell you, this is 159. That's the honey. And this, let me see, is the price on there? I don't think it is, but that's what we cook in, and it's pure coconut oil. Now, one of the things that we consume a lot of is pure coconut juice, which Beth calls buku. So we consume buku a lot, and it comes in our recycled the tall coconut bottles, and we actually fill the fridge with that. We can hardly get, well, we leave 1 shelf, but 2 shelves are full of that, and we both drink that every day. And it is straight from the coconut, okay? It's not, if you stop by the side of the road, you'll find these little vendors, and they're selling buku juice, and it's very sweet. It's much nicer than what we have, because ours is without sugar. It's straight from the coconut, and it's not always, well, if it doesn't have sugar, then it's not as pleasant, is it? Because we're all bleeding sugar addicts anyway. That's why I've given in and got this. I was doing very well. I was having very, very weak tea, which was without sugar, and I used to have a spoonful of honey in my mug of very weak tea. And that was much, much better for me, because it was barely strong enough to be regarded as coloured water. And I have that. But every so often I just end up wanting a cup of coffee, and this is called 3-in-1. So it's delicious. Enjoy delicious creamy coffee with a treat of caramel. That's really, really nice. I'm a complete heathen, a barbarian when it comes to coffee. People who are really from America would be in despair at me because of my attitude to coffee. I don't like particularly ground coffee, the real thing. We don't have a coffee percolator, a coffee maker. We are heathens. Beth is not allowed to have coffee anyway. On her diet, which she is religious. She doesn't have, other than say this, which is tuna affritada. So this is actually like a cooked version using tuna as the meat base, and put it with rice, and it's delicious. We've eaten a lot of rice lately, and we've lived as a lot of Filipinos have been living. So this is the kind of thing that happens. So a very quick rundown of what I've spent today. All of this came to 4,035 pesos. Okay, so this is more than I would normally spend, and you can see what I've got and what I've done if I show you here without reversing the camera. So that, there, look, and there's the rest of the meat there. Oops, unbalanced. Get it over there. Look, this, as I think I showed you, this is the washing powder in here, and all the rest you can see. These kind of things tend to be, this is actually oats, and as I say, honey, washing, and I bought a broom, which was, I think, about a couple of 250 pesos, and they've only just started making that kind of broom, what in the West we would call a bass broom or a yard broom. They don't do them. They do these wimpy little things with a plastic handle which gets broken in no time. This has got a wooden handle. So straight away when I came home with the money in my pocket from the first withdrawal, I went to the gas station and I paid 2,000 to put gas into the truck. That puts it just over half full. So now we know that if there is an emergency and we have to drive anywhere, there's gas in the truck. It hurts because the truck only does about 11 to the gallon. But when I go out later, not today but tomorrow, I'll go to the ATM again and I will make another withdrawal, and I'll make sure that the motorcycle gets filled up. That will be about 500 pesos. And that will fill up the truck. It takes, I think, 11 litres, and it's around 500 to fill up. See, so I ride the bike a lot now, more often than the truck, because the truck does 11 to the gallon, and I think the bike does about 40 or something like that. I can't profess to be accurate on what cars or trucks actually do in terms of mileage. I gotta have the gas. We own the truck. That's what we have. That's what we use. And so whatever it takes. I know it's a scandalous way to run a budget. But anyway, this is what we get, and this will last us, some of this will last us a few weeks. The meat will be gone probably by Wednesday or maybe Thursday if we're lucky, and then we'll be looking at meat again. But as you know from being in on our previous, on our previous videos, this is the meat for, well, that will be half the meat, 80 pesos. It's only $1.50, $1.50 for that meat, which I think is pretty good. What did these cost? I don't know whether they have the price, but you can see how many there are. These are kind of like snacks, and they cost, that whole bunch costs 65 pesos, which is a little more than $1. Okay, so this is what we can expect, and of course we get home and straight away here's me clamped around my ATM card in case anybody wants me to use it, and sure enough we get an immediate demand for 1,000 pesos. I've only got, out of 10,000 pesos today, I've only got, let me see, 1,600 pesos left. That's all that I've got. 16, well, no, I'm keeping back 100 pesos for myself. Greedy devil I am. The rest is going to Taliklik. We have to pay for her boarding house and some of her eating expenses. And the other is 1,000 to Nanay because she needs to have an ultrasound tomorrow. And so the demand is there. What can we do? Believe me, these are pressure moments, if you think about it, that we have gone for week after week. It seemed getting towards the end of where we needed to have the UK pension, it didn't arrive. And then we're going every day to the ATM, the Great God ATM, to worship at the, well, if it had feet, we'd be worshipping at the ATM's feet, to no avail. The money wasn't there, and it's still not there. So I wonder what the hell is going on in the UK. And if you're watching Katie Hopkins, you will have a very good breakdown. I recommend that you go and look at Katie, a lovely lady, a Brit who has travelled extensively, and she has nailed it as to what is happening in the UK at the moment. Now, the reason that I'm talking like this, when I said that I was going to be talking about this, is because regardless of what we have been told, we are still being censored. And for those who are wondering why we should possibly have, how could we possibly have 262,000 subscribers and only get 1,000 or 2,000 over a few days of views? Not everybody is going to post their like, when it really would help if you did. And if you subscribe, it will help even more, because YouTube will then have to send people to us, regardless of how they prefer to muzzle me for talking on things that I shouldn't. Aren't I a naughty boy? Thank you for looking in. Please like, comment, subscribe, make yourself known. Tell me what you think, because I am interested and I read all the comments. Bye for now.